I'm Kshitija Katare. I'm here not just to talk but to start a conversation about places that are often overlooked, small towns with big dreams like Virar. This podcast aims to shed light on such towns, the resilient people from here, and incredible potential that lies in the region of Vasai-Virar. So ये कहानियाँ बताना ज़रूरी क्यों है? ज़रूरी है because we need to understand these people, the wings of these people and the interesting stories that are going to come from our region. तो मिलते हैं नए पॉडकास्ट में सोचो और सीखो सागा. Stay tuned.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to our brand new podcast series where we dive into the interplay of education, design, and technology. I, Khushi Patel, an applied arts student and specializing UI/UX design at EDBA Academy, is your host for today's podcast. Today, we are focusing on the vibrant region of Vasai-Virar, and I have a very special guest, Kshitija Katare. But first, let's give her a moment to explain the concept of our podcast and share her story.
Thank you, Khushi. Thank you for having me over here. So the podcast that we will be introducing through EDBA Academy is Socho Aur Seekho Saga. And what we will be doing is we will be focusing on the small town stories, the people, the scenarios, and everything big, small that happens through the region. Starting with the first region that is my town, where I am born and brought up, is Virar. So happy to be here, Khushi. Thank you so much for having me here.
That's an exciting journey to begin with. Let's delve deeper into your journey from being a small girl in a villa to a seasoned professional in a gaming industry. How was your experience from the past 11 years?
I started my journey in gaming in 2003 after my bachelor's. I never thought that I'll get into gaming industry, or that was not an inspiration or aspiration. At least in 2002 and 90s, as I'm born in late or I can say like early millennial era. It just happened. I completed my graduation. Few of my friends were doing few things in gaming. India Games was the company. I tried, gave the interview, started my journey as a trainee, became team lead, and then moved to from India Games to Game Loft, and then EA Sports and Octane Technologies, Sinqua Games, and very recently .9 Games. It was a fantastic journey, but the journey got a very different turn in 2014, where I was not working directly in the gaming industry, and I had to move to education. Exciting 11 years of beginning and 11 years of my career, I can say.
And what about your childhood? Do you have any favorite memory from the millennial era?
Yeah, the growing up in Virar was, I don't know whether exciting is the word, or you can say the necessities were very limited. There was no McDonald's when I was growing up. There were like cyber cafes, and for internet we have to go there and do things. As a kid, I'm the only child of my parents. So as a kid, I was very talkative. Uh, Doing a lot of things like even though I have been a very healthy kid since my childhood, I was always also in sports and a lot of science shows and a lot of education competitions, science exhibitions, that is handwriting and all those things. So I have always been very active in the extracurricular things, which I think which helped me grow as a person. I never had a stage fear. I was always there, ready to give any gig. In fact, if anyone is absent in school, I used to call by my teachers, like, someone is absent. In Marathi, as we say, all my teachers used to say, Katarela bolo. That means, call Miss Katare from her home. And I used to be, so I was that kid who was always present and doing certain things, and yeah, kind of a miscongeniality with a lot of friends, right from naughty to very brat to toppers, everyone. Like, I was a good student, so I was always in 80s, and I performed the worst in my 10th, which was 74%. I can proudly tell everyone that nothing is going to stop you, even if you get like whatever percentage in your 10th grade. So yeah, my childhood was pretty nice, very happy, I can say, because we didn't have phones. So what else you can do apart from going for antakshari, playing downstairs, and all those small little things, even renting cycle for 1 rupee, and going for a round. So yeah, thank you for asking me. I never thought about it like this.
You're
Will
welcome,
be
ma'am.
this will give me like this nostalgia of my childhood.
And how did you choose your college? You wanted to do applied art or you wanted to become an artist from a younger only?
I was good in art, in drawing, and my dad used to take me to most of the drawing competitions. Nowadays, in parenting, we always ask our children like whether do you want to go and take participate in this, and like the consent has to come from a child. Our times were different. There was no consent, but there was a bribe. Like, I'll give you this if you come to this drawing competition and this. The good part is, I am very glad and very thankful to my father that he gave me that kind of motivation, or let's say opportunity. Otherwise, as a kid, as a lazy kid, I must have said no if I have given a choice. Okay, sometimes you have to push, and that push came from my father, and that is how. And no matter where I went for the competition, I always used to win prizes in multiple competitions. So yeah, it was good, but it was never a plan that I'll become an artist or a designer or anything like that. It was just that when the ninth standard, 10th standard came, I had two inspirational personalities around me. One was Mr. Shashi Panchal, who's no more now. He was an artist and my dad's friend. And other one was one of my cousins from the family, Rutudai, who was an architect. So I always used to say either this applied artist or an architect. That was the only thing. But yeah, as I told you, I scored the worst in my school days. That was 74%. I was never below 80s, like 80s, 85, all that. And I just said, okay, let me go for applied art. And that time, many of the parents and parents of my friends, they told my dad that I'll just, for better expression, I'll just say it in Marathi. They say की अरे चंदू तुझी मुलगी तर अभ्यासात चांगली आहे, मग why are you putting her to a drawing college, like चित्रकलेच्या कॉलेजला कशाला टाकतोस? That means like, if your child is good, why are you actually sending your child to a field like that? But I'm very grateful for the opportunity that my dad, my mom as well, they never forced me to follow that path. They were supportive, and yeah, I think that was the best decision, at least so far. It had made me, a better person. And it's not when you become an applied artist or a designer that uh, you do something and then you have a different life. You are an artist or a designer for life. Everywhere that you move, you go around, you look at the people, like any people around you or places, everywhere, you look for that eye for art, or it's aesthetic sense. The aesthetic word is used in a very wrong way nowadays, so I don't wanted to use that. But yeah, all's good.
Wow, that's amazing. And what motivated you to eventually choose education?
I never wanted to become a teacher. And it just happened because in my life there was a journey that I was at home, and I was an art director at Hangama Games by then. My child was 1.5 years old almost, and I was a single mom by then, and I had a choice like, what should I do? And I wanted to give time to my child. So so very harsh reality. Education is the easiest to get in, and that's the harsh reality of India. With my, of course, with my international experience throughout my gaming career of 11 years, where I moved around a lot of countries and a lot of international projects and good companies, the number one, number two companies in the world. So that was, yes, a plus point. But that drove me to a decision that, you know what, I want to get in, I want to try my luck, and I wanted a job where I have more time for my child. And that opportunity came through Viva Institute of Applied Art, where I became an assistant professor under Mumbai University. And yeah, I worked there. As a professor for 4.5 years. I also did my masters. I got distinction over there, and I think that was one of the beautiful moments of my life, which made me realize that yes, I used to. I mean, I always love talking and making conversations and all that, but uh, I never realized that I can also become a good teacher. So I think that happened because I'm also a sucker for knowledge. So I always like to read and know more about things. So I think because I'm a good learner, I could understand that part. Um, yeah, and it was a lovely experience, and I'm still enjoying it. So from 11 years of gaming, I moved to uh, education for 4.5 years in Viva, and then moved to NMIMS School of Design for almost 3 years. And yeah, apart from meeting like faculties and very highly qualified people from IIT Bombay and other PhD holders and academicians who have done great in ergonomics and other things, and architects, working up with all of them, like bunch of them was a really lovely experience. And apart from monetary reason, I don't think I would have ever thought of even going back to industry like that. So that is how my 7 years of teaching, teaching journey was.
That was inspiring, ma'am. What has been your teaching experience and how do you perceive the educational ecosystem today?
So yeah, my experience was really great. But as my observation, I can tell you that with the good and bad things that are like pros and cons are always there. But with NEP, I can see a lot of good things happening. The future is bright. At the same time, we are in the verge where the NEP has been introduced, but the backbone, the structure, the other thing, the support system that is needed to actually execute such plan, it will take time, and I think that needs to be there. Beyond systems and ecosystems and all that, I think what is more important on a human level is every teacher, every mentor, every professor, faculty needs to understand that they are they are actually accountable for one student's life. Whatever they are telling a student or mentoring or teaching is being affecting a child. When I used to work in gaming, I used to say that when I used to work in gaming, that's a project. Whether that project fails, it's just a business decision, whether it's a success or maybe it's a flop game and it doesn't work or it doesn't green light. It still doesn't matter because there's no live, apart from monetary reasons involved. Yes, multiple factors again. But if you consider one game project for me and a student, uh, I am accountable for a student's life. And if I am teaching in a class of 60, that means I am handling 60 projects. You cannot goof up and fail 60 projects. So if apart from the ecosystems and technicalities, if every teacher understands that they are accountable for their students, and if that part is done, I think it will be a better situation. As I always promote, I know the technology is being there. I am also an technology enthusiast in my own life, uh, and I do want people to use technology as a tool. But the human factor, the human aspect, that the touch matters, that should be alive. I think that is that psychological behavioral pattern that education needs to be given to the teachers first. If that happens, and if that has been acknowledged by the trustees and the managements throughout the educational institutes around us, then it will be a better option instead of making everything available with technology, whether it is audio visual rooms and VR headgears and tinkering labs and robotics and all those things, which is great, which is needed. But the core and the soul is that everyone needs to work on the behavioral part, which is the human aspect of teaching, and which will start from empowering teachers on the various levels. So yeah, that's my take on empowering education.
How different are the students now compared to then?
Then, as in when I was a kid,
Yes.
okay, so uh, yeah, I think we were quite naive. Students now are very smart. They, like, with mobile phones and all the handheld devices at their fingertips, with the knowledge they have. My mom used to say that when they used to look at their younger siblings, they didn't even used to open their eyes for 5 days after birth. So even that stopped, right? Like, the evolution has been happening with humans, and the babies are doing, I don't know, the crawling faster, rolling faster, opening their eyes immediately after they are welcome to this world. So yeah, with the evolution, I think best thing is kids are smarter. Yes, for sure. At the same time, I think maybe that will be just my personal bias. As per, like, according to me, is that the, I think, lack of patience, because everything is too fast. Like, we want to order fast. The internet is fast. Like, in our times, there used to be, the dialing used to happen, and then we used to wait, because it takes time to open up your system, to even print out one page. Now, even so, everything has been faster. I think people need to slow down a bit. So students are impatient, because you get everything, the results are quick. Whatever you want, everything is fast around them. So I think, yeah, impatience is one thing. And because of the impatience, the curiosity is going into a different tangent, I can say. Because you are impatient, you are the curiosity is going into a negative tangent. But if you have patience, you can actually use your patience towards better things and find out answers. So yeah, that's the reason we say the increase in depressions and other harsh realities more in today's student, and feeling low about their own self-esteem. I mean, I'm sure if I share my picture of 10th standard and I check your picture of 10th standard, you will be, you'll be much more like, uh, better looking in terms of, owning that photo. But yet I will have no shame showing my 10th standard picture. I mean, I don't know how many students can do it right now. I mean, they're just so self-conscious about your own profile, like looking here and left and right and whatnot. So I think, and that's not, when I mean student, that it's starting from a very younger age, because everyone knows how to take a selfie. Everyone knows what's your perfect profile. And nothing wrong in that. That's again using a tool. Like, in our times, TV used to be the villain, like phones. They used to make our TV Sumar Vaslias, and TV used to be called as Idiot Box. But there used to be Nat Geo, and there used to be Discovery channels where we used to watch for hours. So it is just a tool. Same goes with mobile phones or tomorrow AI. How you want to use the tool, it depends upon each person. So quite subjective, but moral of the story, impatience, I guess. That is the difference.
And how has coming from Virar changed your life? Would you say it was a bitter or a sweet experience?
Bitter experience, I won't say bitter experience. Let's say that, some cons, and that will be like just stating facts. But I don't think it has created any bad impact, influence, any negative thing in my life. It has made me a better person, because with every struggle you become a better person. right? So when we used to travel, the trains used to be very empty. Me and my friend used to go from Virar to Bandra, and when used to come back after Naigaon, there used to be no one in first class, so we used to change and come. We used to change the train compartment and get into the second class compartment. We used to be little crowded, and many ladies used to be in that. So if you consider this scenario like a terrible scenario, it's a perception, right? Like, but for us, it was like lovely scenario where we are having our five-star and Fanta and sandwiches, and we are happy standing in the train, chit chatting, entertaining. So how can you say that it is a bitter experience? It is just that others don't have this experience, and only experience and such different experience makes you what you are today. So coming from Virar, yes, my friends also used to call me because I used to go to college in Bandra. I was in LS Reg, a school of art, which was a government college. So my friend used to call me, "Tu kya kabile mein rehti hai?" Because Virar used to be like that. So yes, there are stereotyping, things about Virar when my friends are from Dadar and Andheri and Bandra. Although they never teased me, like I never had negative experience. They used to come and party in Virar. No matter there are socials or annual events. But yes, even the stigma related to the last station of the Western Railways, Mumbai Railways, local trains, that stigma was there. But nothing is a bitter experience. So yeah, when you say that coming from Virar was a struggle in terms of opportunities. When I used to travel from Virar to Chembur for my first job, second job actually, which is India Games, which was in Chembur. So when you consider Virar to Chembur, I used to take 5:25 train, which is the early morning train, because my shift used to start at 7. But even that was a pleasant experience always, because that was a routine that we used to. I did that for 3 years. I became from trainee to a team lead of game art. In that time, it just made me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have survived for 3 years doing the same routine, right? So I will not say it as a bitter experience, but I will, as you mentioned, the bitterness, I will say that yes, the opportunities, there were no gaming companies, there were no IT companies, there were no opportunities as in you'll get as employment over here in this region. That's the reason people used to travel. But the travel had its own pleasure, its own, celebrating your birthdays in trains. And if you see all the craziness that happens, and if you think about India as a whole, whether it is pollution, whether it is politics, whether it is the mud, whether it is the air or anything that comes with it, whether it's the crowd, we own it, right? I mean, nothing to be proud of the dirty things that is happening around us, but we have to own the fact that even though it is here, it's all us. And we have to own it and make it better instead of cribbing and stating, all these things. So yeah, everyone has to do their own bit. And from EDBA Academy, our other companies and all the parental companies and sister companies that we have, we are trying to do our own scent in this thing, and want to put Vasai-Virar into the global level that we are. I think we have already started doing it. It's been 15 years that now we can say that we have an IT hub that is happening in Vasai-Virar, which is a great thing. So I'm very proud of the fact that I'm part of such organization where we are actually trying to change certain things instead of cribbing. So yeah, we spoke and he told me about this mission where they really want to work on the skills and want to support this region and give opportunities and make them industry ready. And they wanted someone to run this type of initiation that they were planning from a really long time. And me, along with my friend Mamta, and also one of my other friends from NMIMS, Dr. Aditya Gupte, started with two of the courses. One was web front-end development, other was UI UX design as a pilot project. It worked, and the same year, Nishant and everyone like Manish I met again, and yeah, they offered me. I also came across this beautiful premises, and I was blown away by the fact, the with the details, and with the with this vision in Virar, they have actually created this office space with such thought to detail, and with every little thing that is needed to be done. And it was really nice. Everything was like, apart from the meeting rooms to the technology to the servers, and everything was like state of the art, and uh, at par to an international standards. And when Nishan talked about giving back to the society, and when a person who is a US citizen, yes, he is an Indian origin, uh, who has worked and created a company like, Raw Engineering as its first bootstrap company 15 years back, and made it big. Uh, uh, and he is thinking about giving back to the town that has given him something. Then I also felt the same kind of a connection, where I felt that yes, I also would like to do something like this and be part of this mission that he has envisioned, and he has given and empowered us and enable us to take certain decisions, help and work towards the same goal and mission, towards giving, whether it is, giving opportunities, making all the youngsters ready with the skills, and all the other things that those are required for the educational ecosystem in this region. So yeah, that was the thought that came to my mind. And the best part was that now I can do best of both worlds, gaming and education both. With my role as a general manager for Akbar Academy, we are also starting with game development courses and game art and game design courses, along with other things like whether it is UI UX design, or whether it is merge stack engineering, or AIDS, or data science, or prompt engineering. You name it and you have it in Virar. And we can see that many people still are traveling, many students still are traveling from Virar to Bombay to Borivali to Andheri, and spending lakhs and lakhs, not even just the time but also the money, which is not just to find the certification that they're doing. And here everything is state of the art. The industry experts are coming, uh, and the same thing will be provided in my own city. So that made me realize that yes, I want to be part of this, and I'm here doing my bit.
That's amazing. So now let's lighten up the mood. We'll play a quick game. I'll say a word and you respond with the first thing that comes to your
All
mind.
right,
Ready?
let's go.
Okay. So creativity,
Fun,
leadership,
empathetic,
community,
herd mentality,
innovation,
fearless,
challenge,
just do it,
collaboration,
team spirit,
future,
who cares?
sustainability,
A big problem to solve.
motivation,
It should be intrinsic. It should come from self within.
and lastly, legacy.
I think I'm right on the path.
Thank you for playing along, ma'am. Any last thoughts before we close today's podcast?
Um, Nothing much. I think the Socho or Seekho Saga is going to be a lovely addition to Vasai-Virar stories, in the Palghar district stories, and we'll be meeting new people. And from next series onwards, I'll be taking your role as a host, and yeah, meeting nice people with great stories in our region. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Kshitija ma'am, for being such an insightful conversation. And to our listeners, stay tuned for our next guest. Until then, keep exploring the unseen.